Next on the Royal Blue podcast, we break down the Cougars' first home game against UCLA. We'll give you a player's perspective on what we saw. Plus, we break down the performances of the offense and the defense. Let's get it. This is the Royal Blue podcast by the players, for the fans. I'm your host, Brian Logan. The Royal Blue podcast provides Cougar Nation with weekly players' perspective of all things BYU football. Big thanks to all the fans that are tuning in right now that have been supporting. This thing is starting to blow up, or as I hear, just all around Provo, and just looking at some of our numbers and the stats and the data, there are more and more people outside of the state of Utah. So not only are we here local tearing up, but we are trying to go national and international. So thank you to all of you loyal Cougar fans out there. This is the Royal Blue Podcast episode 5, titled I'm Telling You Why We Lost. And I'm alongside my boy Michael Alisa, who actually just came up with that title as we started to record. So happy to have Michael on with us today. Michael, go ahead and give the fans just a little bit of a bio of when you played, position, and let's get after it.
All right, so graduated from BYU 2014. My first year was 2008, though. And then I went on one of those things we call a mission and played 2011, 12, broke my arm in 12, 13, tore my groin, 15. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Injuries, yeah, man.
Yeah, but really fun.
Yeah, dude. You know, I forgot that you came in 2008. Because I came in 2009. So, you know, it was always weird for me when guys went on missions and they'd come back and I'd be like the youngest senior. I'd be like 22 and there would be like freshmen and sophomores that were like 23. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. But no, man, I'm happy that you're on and, you know, to be a regular contributor to the platform. And dude, I think this is gold right here of what we're trying to accomplish, and be able to have people like you and myself that have had experience with broadcasting, and we've seen the behind the mic type and behind the cameras where we have been in professional settings on BYU TV. You have hosted with Ben Criddle on ESPN 960. We've just done it all, and so for us to put this together, I am so excited for fans to hear a mix of that professional touch, but also to have that real players locker room perspective, man. So it's gonna go a little wild. It's gonna be a little crazy, but I am excited to have you on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first quarter of play, and obviously talking about the overall reaction of the UCLA BYU game, the first game of the season. What's your overall reaction to the game, Mike?
You know, I was mixed emotions. I think everyone had mixed emotions because you had the defense playing lights out, and special teams was looking awesome as well. Yep. And then offense was making you sick to your stomach to watch, right? So my overall reaction was, well, because this is kind of it was kind of what we expected, was a slow start this season, but at the same time tough to see because so close, so close to winning.
Right. Like, why? Why can't you just get it? See that line right there? Just cross it. That's all you got to do. Just take the tip of the ball and cross it over the white line.
We're 3 points away from being undefeated this season so far. Come on.
Right, bro. I think that's where fans are most frustrated, man. Because think about this, bro. If and even from a player's perspective, I would almost rather get my butt whooped and lose by like 20 points and 30 points each game than lose by 1 or 2, and knowing that we could have easily won that game.
I want like at least we got like some respect. I don't know. I don't know if you believe in that, and like having respect and still losing the game, like making it reasonable.
See, this is the thing, dude. you get respect from players, right? And
Yeah.
you probably get some respect for coaches. And really, what you're playing for is, see, if you were in a conference, you would really be playing for the respect of the coaches so that you can get, all conference honors, right?
Right.
And that's why, all these kids growing up, we'll have a little teaching session. You don't talk crap to the coaches because they're voting for you. I learned that my first year, man.
Wait, did you do something like that?
Oh, dude, I talked so much smack, and I just heard from some of the coaches that I had like a bad attitude, and that's why I ended up getting like honorable mention. And
Wait, like in games?
Yeah, bro, don't judge me.
Like he'd be on like the opposing sideline, and you'd be like, mouth him off.
Yeah. It's easy when you play corner because you're right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, tell your punk, scary quarterback to throw it my way, man. He can't throw. He's scared to throw it to a 5'6". Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely the rated R version. That was the PG version right there. But yeah, man. And they were just like, I wouldn't expect that from somebody from Brigham under Bronco. And I'm like, well, does the fact that I'm not Mormon, does that count? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, man, you do get a lot of that respect, and I think right after the game on a national level you do. But think about it, bro. On a national level, what happens at the end of the year? You look at those W's and you look at those L's, and so that's why to me, I would go through the season and I would say at the end of the day, people are going to look at the W's and the L's. They're not going to know, how much how much or how little we won or lost by. That's all they're gonna really hold me accountable to. And so I would be more frustrated in my downtime thinking about all of those plays that just didn't, happen well, or just we didn't execute on, or whatever the case is. That type of stuff kills me more than just getting punked. Because if I get punked, bro, I'm like, I'll be a man. I look myself in the mirror. You're
That's
short.
true.
You're short. You're slow, and you aren't physical. So you got to live with that.
That's true. But if it's something like a little mental error and you just barely lost by a hair, things like that. Still, if I let my mind wander at night when I'm lying in bed, I can't sleep because I'll start thinking about those plays that I should have jumped that guy. Man, we could have had that touchdown. We would have won that game if it was the close ones are the ones that keep you up. I agree.
Those are so. I mean, that's our reaction as well with the fans is it's like, it's so close. And the fans, weighed in and voted, and they said that they were definitely frustrated, more so with the offense, obviously. And we'll break that down here in a little bit. But, I mean, let's move over to some of the stats of the game. And we don't really got to go into specifics and details. We all know what happened and what didn't happen. But, for the fans that are listening right now, you guys can go to our Twitter handles, and you could look at the content that we created. It's beautifully designed. I love content marketing. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. It's absolutely gorgeous that of what we're able to create, and it's just an infographic that just breaks down the stats and the numbers of the game. And I think that the key stat on there is the fact that BYU had 0 points off of turnovers, and I think that that's obviously a telling story when you look at the other games, kind of very similar, not capitalizing on the points. But I also think the running game, bro, with only having 23 yards on the ground, what in the world is going on, Mike? 23.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that was probably, I think we probably had more rushing yards than UCLA before all the sacks.
Right, yeah.
But dude, 23 yards. Even just not breaking 100 rushing, that's rough.
It's rough when you have somebody like Jamal, and I'm happy that you played both sides, because we have Ross on. He's a regular host on here, and we always give him a hard time because he plays offense and it's a whole bunch of defensive guys. So with you can go back and forth. But what's that like as a player when you can ball out, and you have a decent line of scrimmage, but you're just not getting fed, or things just aren't really clicking? I mean, what's going through your mind? What do you think Jamal is going through right now?
I know frustration, probably first and foremost for the loss, and then It depends on the player. Some players are really caught up with stats and they want to make sure that they put good film together. I had my personal goal. Every player has their personal goals and their team goals, obviously. So I'm sure Jamal had a goal before the season. He probably told himself he wanted to get 100 yards a game.
Yep.
And that's a pretty realistic goal for Jamal. Now, when you throw in the offensive line, though, that's tough. That's a tough goal to achieve. And Jamal knows that he needs a line to do it. So it's a team sport. I watched his interview after, and classy guy. I mean, he didn't come down on the offensive line. He wasn't talking about there being no deep game to open up the box. He took it as a team member and said that we collectively need to get better. But I'm sure in the deep little back of his mind, he's thinking,
"You guys suck."
Done fun it. I was supposed to get 100+ yards this game.
It's my senior year. I'm supposed to go to the NFL. You bums.
Stop clipping guys when I give you 50-yard runs.
Right. At least the first game would have made up for these other ones because you guys took away 50 yards. You bums. Gosh. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. We're not saying that Jamal did that. I'm just saying that's me. I would have been like that. Or at the end of the day, bro, you're right. Like I think as players, we know the politics and we know. I mean, Jamal's just a flat out leader, so he knows he's not going to say anything bad about his team. I mean, at the end of the day, they block for you, right? And so you got to encourage them as much as you can. But yeah, deep down, you gotta think, what he's feeling. And I've done that sometimes too, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I remember like getting beat over the top really bad against TCU, and I'm like, man, if the play before, if the D line would have just got off the field on 3rd and 1, it would have never even happened to me. So like I remember it being in film and Coach Hill like breaking it down. I'm like, Coach, bro, we need to like go back to the other play. And go to that a little bit more because you just skimmed over that. It only took 30 seconds for you to break down.
No. What do you say to that?
Oh, man. That's one of those where it's like, he kind of stops and looks and is like, huh? What? Like, what? And it's like, Coach, I'm just playing, man. I'm trying to, make this embarrassing moment, less embarrassing for me. But
hey, you and Coach Hill were like best buds, by the way, weren't you?
That would be Coach Mendenhall. Coach Hill, I like Coach Hill and everything like that. And the thing about Coach Hill, I just didn't have a strong relationship with him outside of football and the program. That's all. With Bronco and a couple others like Coach Weber, I did. I got married my senior year in Coach Weber's backyard. So yeah. So I mean, there's that's all that really that comes down to it. I think is. Being able to have that relationship outside of the four walls, right, or whatever within the program. So yeah,
I just heard Coach Hill had an interesting relationship with the DBs.
Would you hear?
There was a love-hate relationship from what we all understood, and the rest of the building that Coach Hill was a tough guy, tough sucker.
Yeah, he definitely. We know what it was. Me and Brandon Bradley talked about it a little bit last episode, and he didn't really say no names. B with his he's like 35 now, so he's really mature, and he didn't really say no names. We know who he was talking about, Coach Hill, and he was just like, yeah, that style doesn't really work well with me. I don't think it works with a lot of players because you aren't really free to do what you want to do on the field. You're overthinking, where it causes you to play less or fast or physical, whatever the case is. So yeah, but with me, man, but that'd be a good question for you too, dude, because every player is different. Me, I didn't mind it because I like to thrive under the pressure and all that stuff. But what about you? If you can have your ideal coach, what style would you rather have?
I like a coach who's nitpicky in film, but on the field is kind of just like the go have fun, do your thing, builds you up, give me some confidence. But in film, I want him to be the anal guy that's like, almost OCD with, why is your foot facing inside, it should be facing out. Like just like because I want that to get better. But on the field, I want to be able to just forget about it, all the little things and just play.
Yeah.
So I don't know, weird mixture, and I don't. I've had coaches scream at me in the face, and you're spitting on my face. That doesn't really get me motivated.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I like when someone believes in me, and I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a. I don't know what the word is. I guess everyone has their things.
No, man. Yeah. It's all about your learning style and everything like that. Don't worry. This is no judging on this show. Encouraged, Mike. So, with me, I just always felt like an underdog, and so whenever I feel like attacked, like the weight is on my shoulders and the world is against me. That's when I execute and I thrive better. And that actually is probably the biggest. I would say question for the fans that they had. They were tweeting me this last week because they heard a lot of boos, and I'm gonna tease it because I want the fans to listen to the entire show. See, this is what I learned from BYU TV and broadcasting in my experience is to tease all these great things. And really, the question on Twitter, and even David Nixon jumped in and got involved, is, do you how do the players feel about fans booing them? So, we'll get into that towards the end of the show, but this will wrap up our first quarter. I appreciate all of the fans that are listening so far and that have supported. So coming up in the second quarter, we break down the performance of the offense and we discussed your grades. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Royal Blue Podcast, by the players, for the fans. We are now entering into the second quarter of the show, and we will start off with looking at the offensive side of the ball. So as the fans have voted for the second quarter topic, why can't we throw the ball?
Oh no!
Question mark, 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 question mark.
Get some exclamation points in there.
Yes, those two.
Oh man. You want to take this first, or you want me to take this?
I'll take it first, man. And you know what? I'm gonna be so real right now. Hashtag real talk, Mike, because I just got done with shooting AFR that will be on BYU TV. Here at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And we were going through all of the plays offensively, and I hadn't had a chance to really go back and review the film. And I think I was just like every other fan out there by saying, man, we struggled, there's all kind of problems. But at the end of the day, I still really didn't know what the answer was, right? I think I just felt like the rest of the fans, which was, why can't we throw it, or why can't we run it, why can't we do it, we suck, blah, 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 just frustration. And really, as I started analyzing the film today, there's all kind of issues on the offense that essentially are working together that is really, really hindering the success of the offense. And from either getting in a rhythm, getting a simple first down, even positive yards, right? There's so many issues from the receivers and Taysom not being on the same page, from linemen that are just missing blocks, from Taysom did have some throws, some bad throws, and some inaccuracies, but every quarterback has that. And so when you looked at it from a fan's perspective, you were like, oh gosh, Taysom is struggling. But it wasn't the case at all, man. So if you guys go and watch after further review on BYU TV, you guys will see some of our breakdowns, and it actually made me feel a lot better. You know what I mean? Oh, dude, it was crazy, man. So there is one play that we break down where he drops back, and there's a 6-man pressure, and the routes that are called are 10 plus yards. So usually with a 10-plus yard route, you're going, as a quarterback, you're going to take a 5-step drop, right? Because you want the routes to develop down the field. And before the routes declare, meaning before the receivers actually get into the final stage of the route where the quarterback can identify if they're open or not, usually the quarterback is at the end of his 5-step drop. He puts his foot in the grass, makes his decision, right, goes through his progressions. dude, it was like 3 steps, and he just like decided to launch it. And from fans and when you look at the receiver he was throwing it to, he actually ran a dig route, but because he was on the sideline, it made sense for one to throw out of bounds, throw it high where nobody can get it, right? And obviously make sure that it's in front of the line of scrimmage so that there's no penalty, right? And when you look at that in real time, you're like, whoa, he threw a fade and the receiver did a stop route. And it's like, they suck. What's going on? But in actuality, what he did was he protected the ball by throwing out of bounds, and he didn't even give up sack yards, bro. And so there was plays like that all throughout our breakdown. And I started getting more mad. I'm like, this is the receiver's fault. This is the lineman's fault.
What?
Yes.
Okay, this is blowing my mind right now.
Yes. It's but it's good though, and it's one for us as players, but it's good. But for fans, and this is why it's blowing your mind right now, Mike, because we don't watch film anymore, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the film that we do watch, because I see Ben Criddle and even Hans Olsen, that they'll go back and rewind it on their TVs, but that's not like the game film. Its game film is way different than in the box type of film where you're seeing
end zone shot and then the box shot. Yeah,
exactly. Now, they still do I'm not saying they don't do a good job. They still do a great job of breaking it down, but it's harder to see the big picture because the film that we are seeing is for the fans, literally, to have a good view. And so when you see that view, dude, it really, what it comes down to me, Mike, is just the timing and the chemistry and the overall ability to essentially know what you're doing and know the goal of the offense. And so, a lot of fans would say, why can't we throw the ball? And you could speak to this. If you guys aren't on one accord as an offense, I mean, what really can happen in a positive way?
Yeah, one mistake from one guy can ruin the whole offense. It's not like defense where you can have a couple of renegades and just doing their own thing, and you still make a sack or an interception or a tackle for a loss. So offense, everyone needs to be on the same page, or else it looks pretty ugly. So I got a question: did you guys break down the play? There was one play in particular when Taysom dropped back and he had his feet set. There's no one around him, so no pressure, and he kind of looked around, went through his reads, and launched the ball to the left of the field. Like, I don't know what the route was because I couldn't see on TV, but that ball sailed.
Yeah. I think we know what you're talking about. I think we broke down that play, and really what happened was the receiver. It was like a fade route, right? Like a streak, and he was inside the number, so he was closer to Taysom. And naturally, when that happens, that reduces the overall spacing of the field and the formation and the defense. And so when the receiver did his fade, 20 yards down the field, and because of the short split, the reduced split, he actually ran straight to the safety, and the safety didn't really have to do too much. And so because of that, and they were in like a cover 2, so the corner on that side was playing more flats. So there was a perfect window, right, in the cover 2 to really hit the receiver between the corner and between the safety. But because the receiver kept going, I think it was a freshman, because he kept running straight to the free safety, Taysom just naturally threw it to the opposite side of the receiver, right? Because
to let him go get it.
Exactly, to let him go to let him go get it, because if he throws it like normal, he's clearly getting an interception, bro. And so that's when I started getting mad, because I was like, oh my gosh, these receivers, what are you doing?
So true. I noticed a bunch of the younger guys running some really ugly routes. I mean, not to bag on them, but dude, I'm forgetting what my route. Like it's like 15 yards. We need Ross Oppo up here. 15 yards up, and they kind of like do a post and then come flat across.
Oh yeah, like a dig.
A dig.
Yeah.
Dude, I think it was Moroni. He did a dig, but he was drifting.
Yeah.
And we all know you don't drift because that just helps the safety out.
Yep, exactly.
You got to keep it flat or come back towards the ball.
Right, exactly.
So.
Well, and I think that was the biggest thing when I came from junior college was, dude, I was getting like 9 picks a season. easily, and it was because of that very reason. The routes weren't crisp, and when you do have young freshmen and guys that don't have a lot of experience, they're still going to run those routes until something happens where safety comes in and picks the ball off, and so that doesn't help out, right? And Blaine Fowler, Uncle B, said something great, which is now that they have seen these things, they can go back and say, okay, when we're in this exact situation again, we are going to do A, and that's official, that's final. Boom, we are now on the same page. And really, what I think, Mike, is because the offense is so new and there's 3 different types of fronts and defenses that BYU is seeing, they can't make those adjustments in real time until that happens. And so they're going to continue to make adjustments once that situation comes to life. You know what I mean? And that's just football.
That's a good point.
That's football 101, bro. We not only do we do this, and fans don't really know too much, but we get off the sideline and we are doing that constantly, right? We're like, what did you see? We saw this. Let's do this. Okay, next time we run this play, they're in this personnel, we're going to change it to this, blah, 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 whatever the case is.
I missed that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps, man, just thinking about it.
I love that.
And it's straight up chess and strategy. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody that like me that's only half smart, it's checkers, but it's really chess when you come off the field and you're moving things on the fly. You prepare your butt off, but you don't really know until you're in the game. And how much even more so, dude, with an entirely new offense. You got a new coordinator. So Ty is great and everything, but he still is going through the same bumps and bruises as a normal. I mean, he's still a human being like the rest of us.
Absolutely. I did like his offense against Arizona. I loved seeing the old school playbook come out with the fullback dives and the naked boots. Oh,
yes.
Use of the tight ends.
Yes, right.
I'm really excited about it.
It's nice, man. So we asked the fans to give us the grades of the overall performance of the offense, and the fans have spoken. Dun, da, da, da. And they decided to give the offense a D. So, and that was 54% of the fans that voted and weighed in said that the offensive grade was a D.
That might be an F though. Well, if we're talking letter grades.
Yeah, we're talking letter grades, and so I'll give you guys the overall grades. 2% said A. You guys, I don't know what game you guys are watching. 26% said C. I think those right there, bro, are the real true fans. Those are the loyal fans right there.
The fans that graded A are the crazy fans. Yep. Mm-hmm. Or little kids, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
They're logging on with the parents' accounts. And then, like the 26%.
Yeah, right.
They're real. Like they know football, but they're being optimistic.
Right, exactly. And then 16% said F. So those are the ones that are like, I'm about to be a Utah fan now. I'm gonna be a Ute. So yeah.
Start cheering for the women's soccer team.
Right. Exactly.
Like number 2 in the nation.
Yeah, like football, women's football. What I mean by that is women's soccer. If that's
FUTBOL, football.
Football. So let's get to the fans' questions about the offense. Stephanie Budge from Fort Worth, Texas, says, "What do you think the number one cause of the offense struggles are?"
Lack of experience. Yeah. I think that's number one, both receiving core and the offensive line.
Yeah, especially from that breakdown analysis that we just gave. I got to agree with that. Jared Hardy from Price, Utah. I don't know where that's at. Is that close by, Price? You know that's at, Mike?
Price is like a 4-hour drive from Utah Valley.
So I wouldn't really call that local. So thank you, Jared. So his question is, what kind of effect would changing to Mangum have, and would it mess with the team's chemistry?
Yeah, so I don't know how you feel about this. I want to get your take on this because
I went first last time, bro. You got to go first.
Every position on the field is open for competition, except for the quarterback position. For some reason, traditionally, you never have quarterback competition unless, and you only make a change if you're sure that you're going to keep that change throughout the rest of the season. Ooh, you know, the going back and forth between quarterbacks has always been traditionally taboo. Some teams do it. like Ohio State did it last year and worked out okay for them. But I'm okay with that. I think the quarterback position should be treated like every other position in the book. So I don't think a full-on change to Mangum is necessary. I say open it up to competition. If Tanner's playing well in practice and Taysom's maybe looking like his leg is bugging him when he's running, like he might be a little injured, then maybe give him a break and let Tanner take a series.
Yeah.
And don't make it too dramatic. I don't think that'll mess with the team if you kind of just downplay it and let Tanner get some playing time.
Ooh, dude, I like that, man. I like that because you're getting Tanner some experience, but you're also in like a sneaky way, you're trying to see what he can do.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, and then you're telling your team, you're like, oh no, he just got a series, no biggie.
Yeah, we're just giving Taysom a break. So, but if you're blowing trumpets and saying we have an announcement, we're changing quarterbacks, like then you make it a big deal, and all the fans are freaking out, because there's the Mangum camp, and then there's the Hill camp, and the players in the locker room are talking. Well, who do you think should be playing? I don't know. Who do you think? But if you just kind of like sneak Tanner in there every now and then for a series, then no stress. It's no drama.
Dude, I like that, man, because I've been a part of the Riley Nelson and Jake Heaps quarterback controversy, and so actually, Chad from Sandy, Utah, asked, what is the talk in the locker room like when everybody knows there needs to be a quarterback change? And so based off of what we said earlier, I don't think that everybody is going to know, like everybody knows there needs to be a quarterback change. I think for us as fans, we think that there needs to be a quarterback change, right? And I'm just speaking for the fans. But I mean, I think you just answered that question, man, because I remember 2010, it got so bad where Coach Mendenhall was like, nobody's talking about the quarterbacks.
Yep.
Nobody. And I knew he was talking about me, because I said something, and I think one of our other team captains had mentioned something, and I was just like all for Jake. And it wasn't against Riley, nothing against Riley. Riley's a way better leader. He, I think he works harder. I think he has everything that a captain and leader needs. And I think, from a quarterback perspective, I think he knows this as well. Doesn't have all the skill sets to be, the traditional quarterback, but he can replace that with all of the things that I just mentioned: leadership, grit, all that stuff. And so when I was talking about it, I was just like, yeah, kid has an arm. Yeah, I normally would pick a ball off, but he just zooms it in. So, I mean,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? How'd you guys feel about that?
No, I'm with you 100%. So I went through two of those. One was between Jake and Riley, and this was when Jake was kind of on the decline and Riley was on the rise.
Yep.
Both on the field and in the locker room talk between players.
Yes, how was the locker room talk? I want to know.
Yeah, so it was crazy because I don't know if Bronco asked, it was one of Kavenga. I remember we had a team, like a player meeting only, and one of Kavenga stood up and had this whole thing where he vouched for Jake and said, listen, guy, basically, listen, stop questioning who should be playing. Jake's our guy. We need to get behind him.
Ooh.
So kind of putting to rest the quarterback controversy in the locker room because it was amongst the fans big time already.
Yeah.
And which is happening a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But
was this in the team meeting or was this like in the locker room?
It was in the team meeting room, but it was players only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so everybody got to hear.
Yeah, one of those after practice player called meetings.
And was he a captain at that time? Was one a captain?
Yeah, defensive captain.
And so where were you guys at as far as like wins and losses? Was this right after the Utah game? That was fine.
Maybe you know what? It might have been. I think the game after the Utah game we lost 2 or something, or 2 games after. So people were looking at each other saying, "Dude, we all love Riley," and Riley was doing all the special teams.
Yeah.
So everyone in the locker room, everyone on the team, just like, bro, Riley Nelson, dude, he's our guy. I want to follow him into battle. We love Jake as a teammate, obviously, but he's not on his game right now. Maybe he's in a sophomore slump. Who knows what it is? But I think Riley would be better for us right now.
Dang, dude. And so, I mean, do you really think that played a huge role as far as affecting the team, or maybe even certain groups, or even certain individual players, their performance and how they carried on? Like, oh, it's no point of playing hard because James gonna throw 10 interceptions. So
yeah, no way. Everyone's still doing their job. Everyone wants to start at their position and wants to win, but there is a little bit of uncertainty maybe with the direction of the team, and you want to have a say in your team, and even though you're not a coach, you do see what's going on every day in practice, and you see who everyone naturally listens to as their leader in the locker room and on the field. And yeah, at that time, I think everyone was leaning towards Riley, even though he wasn't the starting quarterback. And then the same thing happened when Riley was the starting quarterback, but he got hurt, and James Lark was in the locker room, and he's in practice throwing dimes.
Right.
And Riley's back is just killing him, and we could all see it on his face. We could see it in his game style. He wasn't quite himself anymore. And that kind of brought up the question, both with the fans and a little bit in the locker room, is, should James be the guy now?
Yeah.
We all love Riley, and it's nothing personal, and that's the toughest thing, because he's your friend, and you see him every day, and you feel like maybe you're not being loyal to your friend.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is he wasn't playing like himself,
right.
and the guy behind him would maybe do a better job, so you kind of want to try him out.
Bro, that's so tough, man. I mean, we got excited, earlier talking about plays and how we, play chess and stuff on the field, and we got goosebumps. And now I feel that same spirit in or the opposite spirit in my right now, where it's like, oh, I love this dude.
Yeah.
And you came over my house, bro, and like for Thanksgiving, and my mom, like, you tasted my mama's fried chicken and red Kool-Aid. And I don't know what color, I don't know what flavor, if it was cherry or strawberry. I don't pay attention. I just know it was red Kool-Aid. And so you are a part of my family.
Yeah.
But you know what? You suck on the field right now.
In winter workouts, when I was puking my brains out, you were the one that was there patting me on the back saying, "Let's go, bro. We got this." Like, you're my dog. You're my brother. But you're not playing like you're like you used to. Age, injuries, those things happen in this game.
Right.
And the way that guys play changes, and that's just a fact.
It's hard, dude. And I this is why I couldn't be a coach or anything, because I can't. I know the formula to be a successful coach, and that is straight up the best players play. I don't care if you're 5'6" or 6'10". I don't care if you are named the first round draft pick or projected to be the first round draft pick, or what the case is. The best player is going to play within the community, within the program, within the side of the ball, within the group of that particular position. And it has to flow all the way down, from top all the way to bottom. And if it doesn't, then you aren't playing. But I can't do that, bro, because of the relationships, you know what I mean, and how I view or see people. So that's always a struggle is playing, that politics. And I'm happy we didn't have to go through it that much. I wasn't happy that Riley got hurt, but he ended up getting hurt. I think Florida State. We went to Florida and played, and he got hurt. So it put it to rest. And it was crazy because the first 3 games we didn't know how to act, dude. We were like looking at each other. We were like, dude, what is gonna happen? Because they were both trying to figure it out, and they were getting somewhat equal reps. So nobody can get into a rhythm. You know what I mean? It's like you got a couple of different play calls and sets for Riley, but then you got a whole nother play call and set for Jake. And we were frustrated, right? But I think the entire team, as a defense, the entire team was frustrated. As soon as Riley got hurt, bro, it was like, oh my gosh. It was almost like a breath of fresh air, only because we didn't have to worry about the quarterback controversy. We didn't have to worry about the fans and the media, and even like if the coaches were on, whose side are the coaches on? Are they Team Riley or are you Team Jake? Like what it is. And so after that, we moved on, and even though Jake continued to have his struggles, we now just turned our aggression and frustration towards the offense, instead of like the entire situation and program.
Yeah, I get that.
I guess so. It was better, man. That's good stuff, man. Because I appreciate that talk, because and it's the same person, which is even more interesting, right? As far as you have one person that has 3 different controversies, which is very interesting. So, anywho, that is wrapping up the second quarter of play. So we are at the end of the first half of episode 5. Coming up in the second half, we head to the royal blue side of the ball, the defensive side. We'll answer your questions. But first, before we do that, please go ahead and enjoy the halftime show, sponsored by Rocco's Big City Deli. So we'll be back here in a second.
I will never stop like a marathon in Boston. Don't get it confused, cause I never feel exhaustion.
Today's halftime show is sponsored by Rocco's Big City Deli, downtown Provo's subterranean sub shop for over 25 years, located at 18 North University Avenue, across from the new temple. Head down today for Taco Tuesday. Please go ahead and do that. Any $2-3 until 9 p.m. CJ and Veronica, I love you guys. You guys are literally my family. Veronica, we've grown up together. We have all these pictures, and now you cook for the city that I love and I played for. I appreciate all the hard work and efforts that you guys have done for your own business in the restaurant and keeping families like mine and even guys like Michael Alisa fed. So appreciate you guys. You guys go check them out. Let them know that you heard their sponsor, The Read, on the Royal Blue podcast, and see what CJ does for you.
Got so many bars that you thought I was a criminal. Rap it till my head is off. Homie, I will never stop.
Welcome back to the Royal Blue podcast, by the players, for the fans. If you haven't done so yet, ladies and gentlemen, please get social with us and follow us on anything and everything your hearts can imagine. Talking about Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat. Yes, Pinterest. Michael, Lisa, don't look at me weird like that. We are.
Wow.
We're on Skype right now.
Another side of Brian I've never seen.
Hey, bro, real men pin things. So I love Pinterest, and a lot of my inspiration actually comes from Pinterest as well. So, but yeah, we are on everything right now. So you guys go out and follow us, support us. We appreciate all that you guys do. Get social with us, send us tweets, chats, all the above, and we will try to engage with you guys as best as we can. So now we're entering into the second half of the show. Let's get into the defensive side, and we'll go right into the fans' grades on the overall performance of the defense. And so the fans have spoken, and the grade is dun da da da. Oh, hey, Alan. It's a B. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I thought defense was amazing. Mm-hmm. I would have given defense an A.
An A?
Yeah. So, defensive line is getting there.
Okay.
But linebackers, I'm so impressed.
The linebackers, bro. Oh,
this linebacking core, I'm telling you, because they're all coming back next year.
Yes.
Watch out. Dude, this is going to be the best linebacking core BYU's had in a long, long time.
Bro, that's no lie. When we recorded earlier for After Further Review, that's what David Nixon said. He was like, this linebacking core will probably be one of the best. He's like, it's amazing to me, their skill set and where they're at mentally, as far as knowing exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, where to go, all the above, and then they finish and execute. So not only do they know where to go, but they actually make the play, bro. And I think that's what separates a good player from a great player, because you have guys that know what they do. It's like the Bronco Mendenhall. Execute all 11 guys on one accord. Yeah, it's great. But then you also have like the Kyle Van Noy's that's like, man, I'm about to execute. I'm about to be where I'm at, and I'm about to get a pick or a sack or a strip. You know what I mean? You got the real game changers.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say A. And let me read through the fans the overall grades, and then I'll bring back what Joe Sampson said on I think episode 3 about the defense and why he graded it the way he did. And so 49%. See, this is we're right on line. 49% of the fans said A, and 50% of the fans said B. So by default, you know, we got to give it to the fans because this is everything we do is for the fans. Fans first.
Right.
C 1%. That must have been a Utah fan or something like that. In there.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing Rosen. You're playing like a really good quarterback.
A good team. I mean, I don't. Yeah. D and F 0%. So obviously, that the fans know enough to where they're not being, I guess silly. I would call it. But yeah, I mean, it's between that A and the B. Now, check this out, man. Joe Sampson a couple episodes ago said, "I only give the defense a B if the team doesn't come out with a win." And the argument was, well, the offense can't score or they have struggles, whatever the case is. And he was like, well, they just got to suck it up and not score, because if the opposing team does not score, then they can't win a game.
So defense's job is always to keep the opposing team at less points than
exactly
their team. Okay.
Exactly. So if the offense scores 3 points, then the defense can't give up a field goal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so shady. But you think about that perspective, and I mean, it's actually not rocket science. It's kind of just truth. You know what I mean? That's how you win or you lose a game, if you get outscored. But I think the defense. I mean, you talked about the linebackers. They've been great. The secondary has been great. I said this earlier. I don't think I was as surprised as the secondary, because a lot of those guys I've talked to said that they love playing more man. They love being up in the face of these receivers on the line of scrimmage, and they like to be more physical. And it was always shocking to me, bro, when I would see like guys like Mike Davis, even though he moved over from receiver, but those type of guys with those skill sets as far as taller guys, a little bit thinner, not as physical, and longer arms, long legs, really fast going north and south, but not as fast, from a lateral movement. And the reason why I was shocked is because all of those characteristics that I just labeled, those are that's for man technique and man principles. When you are playing zone, which Coach Mendenhall did, you would get guys that were a little bit more beefy because they had to be more physical. Guys that played zone that are more lateral, right? They're more quick than fast. You don't really have to worry too much about long speed, so going north and south, just more so east and west. And I was like, how are you going to get this guy that's like 180 pounds, 6'3", runs a 4.3, but can't barely cross over his legs to shuffle on a cover 2 and then come out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always thought, man, that's kind of weird, but you kind of see it all coming together now for this secondary. So I'm excited. I'm happy for him, man. Let's go to the player of the game. And I wanted to wait for this till we got to this quarter. So, okay, go ahead. You go ahead. Who it is? Who would you choose as the player of the game? We all know that's going to be Butch, but who would you choose?
Wait, yeah. Okay, so it's not other than Butch, right? I mean,
it could be Butch if you want to be. It could be whatever you want.
I think it's Butch hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, he tied the record for most tackles in the game by defensive player at BYU. Yep. Dude, he's all over the field, and he's not like there are some guys who are just tacklers.
Yep.
And there are some guys who come lay the wood.
Yeah.
He's both.
Yeah.
He lays the wood when he needs to. He makes the shoelace tackles if that's all he can get. Mm-hmm. Dude, he's all over the field getting the interceptions. Tackles for losses, sacks,
everything.
I'm so impressed with the way he's playing.
Dude, so as a former running back, when you go up against a linebacker like that and you have either one, watch film, so you kind of have an idea of how physical he is, but then you hear the rumors, right? You hear that he's gotten players to retire and all that stuff, and then you actually get on the field. I mean, what is your mentality like, during the preparation at practice?
Well, when I would go against a player like Butch, who was the leader of his defense, I respected him. And I would watch his film like I had a man crush on the dude, And I would learn about how he plays and watch his motor, watch all his moves. And I would go into the game, not being afraid of him, but having the utmost respect for him. And then I would look for him after the game and go shake his hand because, he's the kind of guy that sticks in opposing teams' minds. Leading up to the game, the night before the game, they're thinking about this guy, having nightmares about this guy, and trying to figure out how they're gonna react when they come head to head with him.
Man, that's I love that you said that because as a player, we shouldn't be scared of no one. Of nobody. Like, I don't care if this is a first-round draft pick, he runs like a 4.1 or anything like that. I mean, I may play like 12 yards off the ball, but I'm still not going to be scared, you know what I mean? I don't call playing 12 yards off the ball being scared. I call it being smart. You know what I mean? there's a difference. Exactly. I don't want to give up the game losing touchdown at all. But no, I like what you said because as I think I did that as well, where whenever you came up to a player that was highly touted and had all these accolades and so much buzz and talk about them, I would definitely, like you said, would want to know anything and everything about them because, even Superman has kryptonite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that with Butch at all. I'm just saying that's how you have to find your advantage because he's so good in almost every aspect of the game, and especially mentally, he knows what he's doing. How do you overcome him? You know what I mean? Except for maybe having a double team or I don't know, man. But if you were on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, how would you want to game plan him? And I'm not talking about from a coach's perspective, but even from a player's perspective. Obviously it's a little bit harder because you don't watch film or anything, but just off of what you know and what you've seen about Butch, what would you do as a player in the actual game? So
I'd look at it a lot like Rocky IV. We're all Rocky fans. When he's training for the fight against Drago.
Yep.
And it's kind of like that thing when you build someone up to be a Drago, and that's all you can think about, and you're hyped to go against them. You're not taking him lightly at all. So that's the way you want to start preparing for someone like Butch if you're on the opposing offense. Another thing is he's undersized.
Yep.
He's listed at 6'1". I'd probably say he's like 5'11".
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
On a good day. Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing though. Running back, if you're preparing for a Drago, when you meet Butch in the line, a hole opens up and he's flying up to meet you, and you see a guy who's, maybe 5'11", 5'10", and you take him lightly, bro, you're gonna get hit in the mouth and you're getting knocked on your back.
Right.
So if someone who's training for Drago sees him in the hole, you're running back. I'm lowering my shoulder. I'm running as hard as I can, as if I'm running at a freaking defensive end.
Right.
Because I know this guy lays the wood and he doesn't back down.
I like it, dude. I like it. That makes 100% sense to me, man, because we can't back down. I mean, this is the modern day gladiators in a way, right? Maybe a little bit extreme, but I mean, it's a physical game, so you can't back down, whatsoever. And I might actually, try to listen to a little bit more Lil Weezy. A little bit more. I actually might move a little bit more to like the hard, rough stuff. You know what I mean? The stuff that like I would like be ashamed of my mom hearing. You know what I mean? I still keep it PG-13 as far as maybe editing out some of the cuss words.
Right.
But you know what I'm
like
saying?
on Sunday you gotta repent about listening to that music.
Right.
Exactly. On the church. Yeah. Exactly.
Heavenly Father, it was just a tool. It was just a tool to help me get through this game.
I wasn't listening to the words.
I was listening to the beat. That's all.
It was the rhythm. The rhythm was what got me going.
It was the drums. Heavenly Father, please, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, please forgive us. Thank you.
Some of those swear words are in the Bible.
Right. Now remember when Moses wrote, when he came down from the mountain and saw everybody dancing, doing all these other things, he got really upset. I'm not going to use the same words that he used, Lord, but all right, I'm gonna stop. Let's go back to the fans, man, and answer some of their questions. So Jeffrey Butler from Pleasant Grove, Utah. Pleasant Grove in the building. Third and anything over 5 yards. What would you do? Pressure or coverage? What is the preferred call?
Third and anything over 5 yards would be pressure or coverage.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question right there.
That's the no man's land. That's you're going to be right either or. It's all based on tendency, really, of the offense. That's what it comes down to.
Ooh. Okay.
If it's a 21 or a 12, if they got two tight ends in and one running back or two running backs in and one tight end, I don't know.
That's it. So, what was funny was a couple episodes ago, I was talking to, just asking the same type of questions to Joe. And so Scott LaFront has helped out as well, and Ross Apo, and they've kind of given more direct answers. And it's funny because you are kind of like Joe. Joe's like, it depends on the situation. And I'm like, yeah, okay. What do you mean by that? And then so he was going more deeper and deeper, and I'm like, dang, man, I forgot what it was like to be to actual, to play the game, because that's exactly right. And so, fans, and Jeffrey Butler, it's a great question, but Mike's and Joe's response is also a great answer, because the true defensive-minded coaches that really focus on a lot of strategy are definitely going to look at the entire situation. So, one, you're going to look at, and I think this is when I took Mike the next step of my game from a mental standpoint, was when Coach Mendenhall took over in 2010, because I was no longer playing based off of just like him calling the plays. He got me to understand why. I want you to know when I call this play, why I'm calling it. And so I was forced to dig a lot deeper, study a lot harder. And essentially what it came down to was every time that as an example, that a certain personnel that the offense would go on the field, so like 11 personnel, one back, one tight end, usually that means they're going to have more receivers, right? And you're going to have a passing, more passing plays. And so when Coach Mendenhall is calling a certain defense, with 11 personnel on the field, I know, and it's 3rd and 5, I know that it's going to be more of a pass based off of my study and my research, and working with Coach Mendenhall. If it's something that's two tight ends and two running backs, that's more of a pro style set where we can probably expect the ground game to come. So Coach Mendenhall would say, okay, when they are in 22 personnel, I'm going to be calling these types of plays because I want my bigger linemen in there. I want to fill the box where they can't run. And so, that was kind of the mentality and how I was able to really take it from the next. And then as I started, really getting my feet wet with that type of, play calling and analysis, then, dude, I really went to the next level by going, okay, now that I have that and analyze that, what now is obviously the distance, but where are we at on the field? Like what you said, the tendencies. So we know when they are in 11 personnel and it's 3rd and 5, we know that there are about 10 plays that they can run, right? Now, when they
Dude, this is taking me back to defensive testing. Remember we took those tests before every game? And if you didn't get like what was it, 90%, you couldn't.
90%. Yeah, you couldn't play. Yeah, so we'll call a timeout. And we'll tell the fans what we're talking about. So defensively, I don't know about the offense, those bums over there. We had to take a test every game, and it was a quiz. We had a couple, about 10 plays or something like that, and we had to do the personnel and the play. And we had to have the exact name of the play. If we spelled it wrong or maybe put one word in front of the other, we got it wrong.
And all they gave you was a picture of the formation.
Yep, that was it.
And you had to write all the tendencies that they run out of that formation, their favorite plays to run.
All of the above. And if you didn't do it, you couldn't play. And, bro, I'm not going to lie. I cheated. I copied off Corby Eason every time. Like, bro, you going to move you didn't move your elbow last time, man.
And for my style of play, I don't think about that stuff. In the game, I see the formation, I'm like, okay, over here they like to do either a sweep or a play action. That's more like a Cameron Jensen type of mind that actually uses that information in the game. Yeah,
exactly. Well, see, and that's the thing, bro. It's like I was like that as well. Like I didn't really care too much until Bronco took over. You know what I mean? That's when I started to see the game in a whole different light. And so to time back in to continue on. You know, once we identified the personnel, all the plays that they can run, and I would even reverse it a little bit and say, okay, the personnel is 11 personnel. So we know that there's 10 plays that this team likes to run in 11 personnel. It's 3rd and 5. So now we know that there are 5 plays. Their playbook has now shrunk from 10 to 5 plays with 11 personnel and 3rd and 5. Now to go next level NFL type stuff, like these are the players that become doctors and lawyers and stuff and do like astrophysics and stuff. And so you say, okay, now it's reduced to 5 plays, but where are they at on the football field? Oh, they're between the 40 and the 40 and the 40, right? So now I know that there's only 2 plays that they run, right? So now I'm thinking, okay, here's the 2 plays. Now check this out, bro. I would say, okay, there's 2 plays that they're running. And at first, when I got to this level, I would say, okay, it's going to be this one or this one. And, they would run the play, and I'd be like, oh, yep, I'm right. I was right. It was either this one or this one. Then, like, the very next week or maybe 2 weeks later, I would come back and just be ahead of the game and say, okay, now they can run 2 plays, but based off of the alignment of the receivers would let me know what play they're actually running or what routes they're running. So if I say there's 2 plays that they can run and there's 2 passing plays out of this, well, I know that one passing play involves the receiver to run an inside route. He happens to be inside the numbers closer to the quarterback. It makes sense if you're going to run an inside route, you want to be closer to so this is what they're running. And dude, no, I am not lying to you or exaggerating. I would have coaches, granted this is in Mountain West, people, but I would have coaches come up to me and say, I am so amazed at your play and your ability to break on routes and your speed and quickness. I'm like, I just know your plays, man. I don't know. You got nothing to do. You could probably burn me to the 10 right now. I'll run a 4.5 now. I'm not even fast at all. But it was literally just knowing the plays, you know what I mean, and being a student of the game. And, you can go back and you watch some of my film and some of my cut up. And, yeah, I still had some of the technique. But, bro, because I knew exactly what I was doing, what they were doing before they even did it, you know what I mean? It changed the game. You know what I mean?
And I've been on the other side of that. I've been on offense when I felt like they just had our number. When I felt like they knew exactly what we were going to do. And that's so disheartening. Really quick, by the way, to go back to our question. So what would you call on 3rd and 5?
Yep.
I was going to say, if when in doubt, I think coaches usually just call their best play with their best players. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you got guys who are freaking locked down corners, and you got safeties that are on point, then I call man.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as well, man. At the end of the day, let's put our best players in a situation where they can, they can ball out, right, and let them win it. Because it doesn't matter what position I put them in or what play necessarily I call, as long as I am calling it to their strengths.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to be in a good situation. So let's get to one more from Michelle Overton in Cypress, California.
Wow.
I think is that Southern California?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I'm from the Bay Area, so I don't really know. That's
I would say my grandparents too. I didn't know you're from the Bay.
Hey,
you get hyphy.
Hey, stupid dubbing hyphy, man. Where are they from? What city are they from?
My grandma lives in Los Gatos, and my grandpa lives up in Sebastopol.
Okay. so I went to Foothill, kind of in a little bit that area, but I grew up in Fremont and Antioch. So Antioch more by Sacramento, and Fremont more San Jose-ish. Kind of that area. So, but yeah, Michelle, sorry I don't know where it's at, but appreciate you. And her question is, how do you hold onto the team mentally instead of giving into the temptation to blaming the offense for the loss?
Dude, that is 2011 for me, because our defense was like the best defense
ever.
The
history.
And that was the same defense that kind of got carried in 2012. But I mean, you had Kyle Van Noy and Ogletree and Spencer Hadley, Danny Sorensen is with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It was, they were sick. And our offense, we had quarterback controversy. There were 4 running backs rotating in. That was kind of the year I started getting a little more playing time. Mm-hmm. Offensive line was okay. And then Cody Hoffman was the shining spot on the offense.
Yep, I remember that.
But it was tough getting him the ball because we're going back and forth between quarterbacks. So yeah, I remember that year. That was tough. Defense did not like us.
What did you? Yeah, man. I mean, I've heard some stories, from my cousin Joe. How? So you were on the opposite side of the ball. And those guys, I've heard stories from, and interviews, I shouldn't say stories, but interviews from guys like Nick Kurtz that are on the offensive side of the ball that say, hey, I know the defense is going to blow out. They're going to do what they do, and we got to step it up. It makes me that much more motivated. But how do you feel, bro, where walking into the locker room on Monday that you literally lost the game, And I say that, I'm not saying that because they really did, which maybe they did, but I'm just saying, like, that's the feeling that the players have. And so what do you do, bro? Do you like duck and dodge the defensive players, or you can't walk anywhere unless you have like 2 linemen with you?
Yeah, and you can't talk about it. I mean, sure, being positive helps, and giving them praise, that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But the only way to really gain the defense's respect is on the field, man.
Yeah, just got to put it on the field.
You got to start. You're a receiver. You got to start catching some balls and trying to put some points on the board.
I said as a defense, we struggled with this where, and it was harder for us because Jake wasn't really he didn't establish himself as a leader in 2010 and it's always harder for true freshmen at that to come in and establish themselves as a leader, because it's like, what, I don't like, can I speak right now? Can I call team like meetings? Like, can I do, you know what I mean? They're always second guessing themselves. But as a quarterback, you have to do that. You have to be the leader no matter what is going on. If you're failing or if you're being successful, you have to stay in that same mindset and mentality. And because he didn't do that, it was a lot easier for us to blame the offense and tell them straight up, like, man, y'all suck. Like, in practice, like, man, we're not practicing with you bums. You guys, man, we're about to practice against the scout team. Dude,
especially coming straight off of Max Hall's era,
yes.
when you had a quarterback who was dropping dimes left and right.
Yes, bro, exactly. And you had Dennis Pitta, Andrew George catching them, and then you had Harvey that could run the rock whenever he wanted to run.
Right,
you know what I mean? And so it was horrible, man. But the guys were young too. They were super young, and a lot of the Kyle Van Noy was a freshman. Cody was a freshman. Ross, well, he was a redshirt freshman. Ross Appo was a freshman. So, I mean, all these big-name guys, 5-star, 4-star recruits, we were like, yeah, we're not going to suck completely. And then they ended up sucking. And we were like, you guys suck! Oh, my gosh, you bunch of bums. Go.
Did you guys fight a lot?
Oh, we fought all the time, but they respected us because of, just we were seniors, and obviously we balled out on the field. And so they had no reason but all they can do is really smile and laugh. Ross kind of give it a little jab here and there, talk back a little bit, but even then, there's really nothing you can say because, like you said, you didn't prove it on the field. I'm like, hey, I'd be like, hey, Ross or Cody, I got an interception today, right? You know what that means? You know that was one more kiss than you had.
Oh.
and you play offense. I was like, isn't that kind of sad? And he just laughed. Like that's all you could do is laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh about it. You know what I mean?
Because there's nothing answering back to when someone just like, dude, your game sucked. You know,
it's nothing you can do, bro.
Because you know it.
Exactly.
You know what you did and didn't do that game.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I mean, they would say that too. Like people now would even. I think like Brandon Bradley said something the other day, and he was like, how does it feel to have like a linebacker, Kyle Van Noy, to have more career interceptions than you, and he's a linebacker? Well, first of all, Kyle had 4 years. I only had 2. No, anyway.
Well, as a corner, that's kind of like it's tough if you're the corner that everyone avoids.
See, that's what he didn't really understand, man. But it's all good, man. But that's wrapping up the third quarter of the Royal Blue podcast. We'll get into the fourth quarter, and really what it comes down to is the ultimate topic and question of the day, which is how do us as players really, really, really feel about the fans booing us? So, yeah, that is coming up next on the Royal Blue podcast.
It's 4th and inches and I'm going right at them. Keep me from getting money, I won't let them. No matter their size, I'm getting by. Put the pedal to the metal. I bust right through. All that's left is the rebel. All I see is the devil.
So welcome back to the Royal Blue podcast. This is the fourth quarter. Everybody put your 4s up wherever you are. If you're driving, if you're lifting weights right now, put your 4s up. If you are cooking dinner for your loved ones, your families, go ahead and put that knife down, put the 4s up. This is what we did. It's always a tradition on the sideline as players. So you guys are the fans, which we do this for. We appreciate you guys. We put you first, and we try to do everything with you as much as possible. And so I've been teasing it throughout the show that this is probably the biggest question that stood out. And this was just brought to us through Twitter, so we appreciate the social love. But Mike, I'll go ahead and let you take it, which is how do you feel as a player to get booed by the home crowd?
As a player, it sucks. I didn't like. I know how you feel about it, but I didn't like it. It was kind of felt very just weird, like what's going on? I thought, but by the same time, when the crowd booed, it was usually for a good reason. We knew why it was happening. I got booed once. It was Middle Tennessee State, and I had fumbled 3 times that game.
Ooh, yeah.
I had like butterfingers that game for some reason. I remember on my 3rd fumble, some of the crowd was booing. It wasn't everybody, but I heard boos, and I wasn't offended because I knew exactly what I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
Now, can I talk about how I feel now as more of a spectator?
Yep, as a fan. Yep.
So now I see that this is show business. It's not too far different from having a movie or a show, and the players are the actors. They're the talent, and the fans are the spectators, right? I mean, they're giving you raw feedback of what they think of your performance, and they're the ones paying the bills. And if they boo, that's an indication of something you're doing wrong. In show business, you get booed, then you better change up your act. And so, you don't like to see it, and other fan bases don't usually do it. Texas, one of the most respectful fan bases I've ever played at, they booed their team when we played there.
Yeah, that's Texas.
And that's Texas. So it happens, and I think fans have the right to do it.
I like that, man. I like the last statement there, because I think a lot of the fans were maybe surprised and maybe didn't agree with my statement as far as how did that make me feel as far as like the loyalty to the fans? Like, did I end up like resenting them because they were booing me? And it may have been easier, just like you, because I got booed when, my first few games when I was giving up touchdowns or whatever, and I knew that I sucked, so it didn't really matter too much. You know what I mean? Like I deserve it. But even from a fan standpoint, the fans and the critics, I mean, just like all the feedback that we've been getting on this show, if people don't like it a certain way, I'm going to change it because I want to deliver a good product. And with football and sports, you deliver a good product by getting W's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it's not flashy or if you're blowing teams out, it doesn't matter. As long as you get that W, people are going to be happy and satisfied. And so there was one fan, though, that weighed in and said, hey, what about recruits, though? What do you think a recruit would feel like? And I was like, oh,
yeah.
That changed a lot for me.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, if I'm a recruit and I see a fan base booing, then I start to question why, what this fan base has to offer and where the fans' loyalty's at. And if I want to play for something like this, am I going to get booed? But you're still a kid and you're still really sensitive to those things. I think most of us have been, like I said earlier, we've been screamed at in the face by these coaches so much, or we've been in big game situations where pressure's on us. You kind of get tougher skin. Mm-hmm. So I know some of the players were affected by the booing, but I mean, it doesn't bother me. It didn't bother me when I've been booed.
Yeah, I think that's right, man. I think certain players, probably like a Jake Heaps, probably. That was probably another reason why he transferred or had a strong influence of why he transferred was the not only the boos but the Riley chants and probably the Riley T-shirts and the Riley signs
and the Cougar board comments.
Yeah. all that stuff factors into it. 'Cause I don't think that a one-time boo is going, in the, fourth quarter is going to do anything to anybody. I mean, boo-hoo, sad story. There's kids in Africa that don't have food. We get to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, life goes on.
Yeah, exactly. And Klein does a great job of, really preaching that message. Like, okay, we lost to Utah. It sucked. Let's go to UC. Let's move on to UCLA. And so as players, we kind of already naturally have that mindset is to move past and move on. But when you are affected by your everyday live in motion, meaning I see the Riley shirts, I hear the Riley chant, Riley. Dude, we still have, though. We still, to this very day, man, you see Riley Nelson walk into a room and it's like, Riley. No matter what, it's Riley Nelson. Like, it's Riley. That's the homie, man. And so, in that, I'm not saying that this is why Jake transferred, but I'm saying I would have transferred in these types of situations where it's truly affecting my my day-to-day life, right?
Yeah.
Because after I take off the pads and take a shower and go and see my family or my friends and I focus on my homework and things like that, I'm good. It's Gucci. But if I can't do that, if I'm in the community and I'm seeing like Jake, Riley over Jake T-shirt, those type of things, then it starts to mess with you, mentally, gets in your soul, gets in your spirit, where, yeah, it can affect a player.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. I was sad to see, so I think the player that was kind of targeted most was Taysom, right? Mm-hmm. That made me sad. I wasn't there in the stadium, but I was really sad to hear that because, dude, Taysom's done so much for the program, and yeah, he's a good friend, but it's tough. He's not the same guy that he used to be. Like I said, age and injuries catch up, and guys can have a rough game, and you would much rather have them be behind your buddy, behind your teammate.
Yep.
So
no, you're right, man. My heart broke for Taysom as well. But again, I was so uplifted watching that film and breaking down those plays after further review on BYU TV, and it really goes to what the coaching staff is saying, which is these things. We watch the film; these things are fixable. They're easily correctable. Just some more training, some more reps, and that will happen. I think another big question was how long does it take? And I think really they need to see as many different defenses and situations as much as possible. And that could take, one game or that can take 7 games. So I think that's really what it comes down to is really being able to see anything and everything that possibly could happen. And then now everybody should be equipped, moving forward. And And yeah, if it's, the 7th week of the season, it just kind of just sucks for the seniors because they're gone. But as far as the coordinators and the program, they've been there, done that. This is what we're going to do now. This is what we'll do. And that will still get tweaked and adjusted, as time moves on as well. So, Mike, man, I appreciate you for coming on and staying on. I know we've been on for like 2 hours.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
Yeah, which is good, man. It's fun, dude. It's fun to have just like football talk outside of the media. You know what I mean? And I am a part of the media, so I'm not saying this in a negative way. It's just hard to have that media to not have that media talk and to talk as boys and friends. And this is what you guys would hear in a locker room, man.
Yep.
Probably maybe a little bit more other words that should be censored, but those are just young guys. I never said none of those. I don't think Mike either.
This is locker room talk. Minus a few inappropriate words and talk about girls.
Right.
Like other than that, this is exactly what we talk about in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
And how we talk.
Exactly. So I'm happy that Mike was a part of this to bring you guys just a new, fresh perspective. Thank you guys for engaging with us and following us on social, subscribing to the podcast, and for really driving all the topics and conversations that you guys hear. So without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. And that is it for episode 5. I'm telling you why we lost with Mike Alisa. I'm your host, Brian Logan. And before we go, Mike, let the fans know what you're doing now and how they can find you on Twitter and social media.
Yeah, Michael Alisa42 on Twitter, Instagram, Michael Alisa, MICHALISA. Usually try to post a few positive things about the Cougs on there. I live up in Salt Lake, man. I'm in hostile territory up here. Still repping my Y, like I always do. I get weird looks. Almost getting a couple fights around here, but ain't no thing. I still bleed blue up in Salt Lake City. Loving life over here. Nice,
man. Nice. Well, that'll wrap up episode 5. Let's all put Mike to the top of our prayer list tonight, knowing that he's in Salt Lake City. So I've now just mentally bumped you from 10 to about 3. Praying for you, buddy, and your safety, but I appreciate you. And thank you to all of the fans. And let's go ahead and make this a tradition. That is another Cougar First Down. Gotta get the roar. Yeah. See, I like to do it with my hands. That helps me out with the sound.
Gets you in the zone.
Right.